nobody on this road that can save your soul. Almost lost control now. Tell me what you need in a friend and now. Pray that we endure to the end again. I'm just saying that I'm here for you. When the world turn against you, I'ma be with you. Got my sword in my hand, you can count on me. I won't run and hide, fight mightily.
Waiting on your house shot. See the Jacob, I'm the apple of my father's eye. I learned the truth for who I was and it made me cry. If I don't keep the laws of Yah, then I'm gonna die. Living curses, but I'm edifying in my verses. Prepare the hearses for the heathens who be
God. First and foremost, we give all glory, praise, and honor to the Most High God, Yahweh. We do so by Shema Mashiach, Womalak Yahushai, through the spirit of 50 for 50. You know, post-Pentecost, daily live, 50 lives for 50 days. Just bringing out some edification, Lord willing, some encouragement. Tonight's 50 for 50 is titled, Don't Be a Drunkard. You know, there's so many ways to get drunk in this world. There's like popping bottles, you know. A lot of people wake up to get drunk, and they go to sleep to get drunk, and they turn up to get drunk. They get drunk to turn up, and it can lead to a lot of, first of all, unrighteous living. All right, bad habits, health problems, and things of that nature. Just not being in your right mind. So I want to kick it off with the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 11. But now I have written unto you not to keep company, if any man that is called a brother be a fornicator, or covetous, or an idolater, or a railer, or a drunkard, or an extortioner, with such an one know not to eat. So it's giving you basic instructions, right, on who to keep company with. So you don't want to be hanging around those who are drunkards, all right? That's heavily consuming alcoholic beverages and being overthrown in their judgment. All right, now you can drink. It's not a sin to drink. A wine is merry, but the thing about it is you have to do these things in moderation. Modern culture, you know, I sip strong drink every once in a while. May I have a glass of wine? Now, wine normally put me to sleep. I really don't mess with the wine that much, you know, Passover and a couple other occasions, but you have to have restraint. You have to have a just balance. You have to know your limits. All right, know your limits, okay? So you definitely don't want to be out here drinking, getting drunk. And a lot of times too, when people get drunk, right, let me get this in Proverbs, they fight. You know, you see them fighting and things of that nature. I'm gonna get this Proverbs 20 and 1, all right? Because once again, you see, even when people go out to the so-called nightlife and clubs and things of that nature. I'm gonna get this in the NIV. It's the book of Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 1. And this is the practical example. Wine is a mocker and beer a brawler. Whosoever is led astray by them is not wise. Now, a lot of people get drunk and they damn want to fight. And a lot of people have lost their lives because they couldn't handle their alcohol, which ultimately goes into self-control. You got to know your limit or your limits. You have to also be responsible. You know, I got to think of how many people have lost their lives from drunk driving, from being killed by a drunk driver, or them killing someone because they were driving under the influence and being intoxicated. So these are practical things that you got to realize, man. You don't want to be in this truth, being a drunkard. You know, it's all about having a good reputation. And also it's about being wise, all right? And we see the scriptures talk about not being drunk. I'm going to get Deuteronomy 21, 18 through 21 too, right? I'm going to get Deuteronomy 21, 18 through 21. And let's see, even in the law, I want this in the KJV though. In the law, if you had a stubborn son who was a drunkard, right, he could be put to death. So it's even showing you certain things, how drinking is not a sin, once again, but not doing it in moderation. And, you know, it's a lot of people who are alcoholics. They're literally addicted to drinking. And it's because they've done it habitually over a long period of time, over a short period of time. And they even call, according to the world, alcoholism as a disease. But we know, what do they say? Wine and spirits. Being drunk is a spirit, right? So you definitely want to stay away from the alcohol and habitually utilizing it and being drunk. All right. So Deuteronomy 21:18, and this is the law. If a man have a stubborn and rebellious son, which will not obey the voice of his father or the voice of his mother, and that when they have chastened him, he will not hearken unto them, then shall his father and his mother lay hold on him, and bring him unto the elders of the city and unto the gate of his place. And they shall say unto the elders of the city, this our son is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey our voice. He is a glutton and a drunkard. So you do not want to be labeled a drunkard. You got to think about, it doesn't only reflect on you, but it also reflects on, if you're a husband and you're a drunkard, it reflects on your wife, your household. If you're a wife, Lord forbid either one, that, you know, the wife or the husband is a drunkard. But if you're a wife, you're supposed to be a chaste, modest, right, in order. And a lot of you sisters are going off that alcohol. Y'all be drunk, y'all be in the club, y'all be twerking on cop cars, y'all dressed unmodest. And a lot of you brothers, all y'all can think about is chasing a bottle. You know, you're getting drunk, and two, it's not expedient to be getting drunk to try to find some comfort, right? Now, we do know in a sense that the scriptures say, and I believe it's the book of Proverbs, the 31st chapter, or maybe it's the 30th chapter, that to give strong drink, let's get that. I think it's Proverbs 30 I'm thinking about. When she's talking to Lemuel, she says, give strong drink to, no, that's Proverbs 31, matter of fact, Salaki. Give strong drink to those that are ready to perish. The book of Proverbs, chapter 31 and verse 1, are the words of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him. So this is his mom putting him up on game. And a lot of people say King Lemuel is a epithet for Solomon. So if that's true, then this will be talking about Bathsheba, his mother, giving him game. What, my son, and what the son of my womb, and what the son of my vows? This is rhetorical, as she's asking. Give not thy strength unto woman, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. Now, think about this contextually. A lot of brothers have been overthrown through alcohol. You know, they got alcohol, they got drunk. Now they're giving their strength over to a woman. They're committing adultery, or they may find themselves in an unscrupulous situation. And we didn't see brothers, not in the truth that I've seen, but we didn't see brothers get drunk and damn end up with trannies and all type of crazy stuff, right? So give not thy strength unto woman, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. It is not for kings, O Lemuel. It is not for kings to drink wine, nor for princes strong drink. Now, is she saying that it's illegal for kings to drink wine? Is it sinful? No, she's not saying that. What she's saying is, on a practical standpoint, as a king, as a governor, you have a duty to uphold the law in righteousness. And if you get drunk, right, it's not just if you sip wine, if you're intoxicated, lest they, it says, it is not for kings, O Lemuel, it is not for kings to drink wine, nor for princes strong drinks, lest they drink and forget the law and pervert the judgment of any of the afflicted. Here's the point as well. Give strong drink unto him that is ready to perish, and wine unto those that be of heavy hearts. Let him drink and forget his poverty, and remember his misery no more. So this isn't saying that just find comfort continuously in the wine and in the alcohol. We know that the Most High put wine and grapes here, right, for a reason. I'm gonna get this Ecclesiastes 9:7. It even talks about wine being used to be married. The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 9 and verse 7, and it reads, go thy way, eat thy bread with joy, and drink thy wine with a merry heart, for God now accepteth thy works. So it's also going into, you know, a man who, or maybe a woman, right, who finds joy and pleasure in being able to get the fruits of their labor. This is a blessing also from the Most High. So Solomon in the book of Ecclesiastes is juxtaposing and showing like how things are vanity, because no matter what you do, how he sums it up in 12 Ecclesiastes 12 and 13 is that fear God and keep the commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. But on the way, he's telling things about hardship, or about leaving inheritance to your children, and going through trials and tribulations, and the more knowledge or wisdom that you gain, the more sorrow, because you have more understanding of the bittersweet. And he's saying, hey, look, drink a little wine, be merry. So we know that it's not wicked to drink, but to be a drunkard, right? And we also have to remember this. What was Yahweh's first miracle? Because a lot of people say drinking is a sin, but it's not. It's being drunk. So I'm going to get John 2, 11 through 13. This is the beginning of the miracles did Jesus in Cana of Galilee, and manifested forth his glory, and his disciples believed on him. After he went down to Capernaum, he and his mother and his brother and his disciples, they continued there not many days, and the Jews' Passover was at hand, right? And I'm going to jump down to bam. I'll just read through. Yahweh said unto them, verse 7, fill the water pots with water, and they filled them up to the brim. And he said unto them, draw out now and bear unto the governor of the feast. And they bare it. When the ruler of the feast had tasted the water that was made wine, and knew not whence it was, but the servants which drew the water knew, the governor of the feast called the bridegroom, and said unto him, every man at the beginning does set forth good wine, and when men have well drunk, all right, well drunk doesn't mean that they were drunk. It means that, hey man, they was feeling a little buzz. You got to know your level. Then, or your tolerance level. Then that which is worse, but thou hast kept the good wine until now. So he's basically saying, look, most people finesse. They put out all of the good wine first. And then when people got that little buzz, they put out that bad wine or the lower grade wine, because now you already got your buzz and you might not be focusing on the taste, on the body, and so forth. Now, I'm not a sommelier, I believe it's called, or anything of that nature, but just going into that. So from that perspective, when you think about here, Yahweh's first miracle was turning water into wine. So we know wine is not a sin. Yahweh would not be doing anything that is sinful. Now I want to also get I'm gonna get a couple more precepts. Proverbs 23 and 19 through 21, right? Bam. Let me see this. The book of Proverbs, chapter 23, verse 19 through 21. Hear thou, my son, and be wise, and guide thine heart in the way. Be not among wine bibbers, among riotous eaters of flesh. That goes into gluttons as well. For the drunkard and the glutton shall come to poverty, and drowsiness shall clothe a man with rags. Also giving you a practical warning on, look, a lot of times people sit around all day, they just known as winos, or they're just drinking or have a drinking problem. A lot of times they be broke, they be destitute, they can't keep a job. Now we do know some functioning alcoholics, it doesn't make it right, but for the most part, you follow what I'm saying, people who are accustomed to that alcoholic lifestyle. And you got to think, alcoholism sometimes can also affect your children. You have people who's addicted to alcohol, and women drink when they're pregnant, and now your baby has fetal alcohol syndrome, and they're jammed up, and they're judged. You brought on certain judgments to your children because you couldn't kick the bottom. You follow what I'm saying? So from that perspective, I want to go into this real quick. When you actually go into this drunkard, it says drunkard, to imbibe, drink largely, to imbibe, drink largely, meaning to quaff the satiety. I don't even know what that word means. Let me see what this word means. Y'all, let me see. Satiety, the feeling or state of being sated. Oh, like satiated, like almost kind of like you damn drunk. I mean, man, become tipsy, right? Now, become tipsy, drunkard, still Sabian, a wine bibber. And you know, they accuse Yahushua of being a wine bibber. You know, Yahushua wasn't a wine bibber. He just was a man of heavy sorrows, right? He had a lot to deal with, man. Thinking that you think about it, if you knew not when you were going to die exactly, but that you had to die, and that you had to die for people who most of them didn't even regard you as who you were, right? So Yahushua was a man of many sorrows. I'm gonna wrap it up with Titus 2:1, and we're gonna jump around in this book of Titus. Titus 2:1, and it says, the book of Titus chapter 2 and verse 1, but I speak thou the things which become sound doctrine. So this is sound doctrine, that the aged men be sober. So especially in this truth, you want to be sober-minded, also not drunk off other doctrines and things of that nature through the spiritual fold, but on a practical, literal level. You know, you don't want to be out here out of your mind. And what do they say? A lot of people do things when they're drunk and they say, look, I wasn't in my right mind. So you want to be in your right mind with sound doctrine and be sober, grave, temperate. And when you're sober, you're gonna be grave, which goes into like humble, also can go into your reasonable mindset. Like you are able to reason. You know, a lot of times when people are drunk, they're impractical. Things that should just make sense don't make sense. Things that should be easily comprehended and understood aren't understood. Things that should be common sense aren't common, right? Because alcohol or being inebriated, it literally changes your mind. It alters your mind state, right? Your reaction time and all different types of things. So you definitely want to be of a sound doctrine and of a sound mind. Temperate, sound in faith, in charity, and patience. The aged women likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness, not false accusers, not given too much wine. And women, a lot of women too, man, they get drunk and they get a promiscuous spirit on them. You follow what I'm saying? Think it's damn Freaky Friday and she's Frida. So you got to watch out, right, as well, because these are spirits. That's why they call them wine and spirits. Spirits may jump on you. Now you're not in your right state of mind. And you got to think about how many people have also been sexually assaulted, molested, and raped and taken advantage of because they were drunk out of their mind and woke up in God's knows what type of predicament. Hey, brothers have babies. They go out, they get drunk. Now you sleeping with something strange, you're fornicating. Now you got a child with somebody who you don't even love and you don't even know. And now this child has a certain type of upbringing because their father's not around. The mother was a one-night stand. A lot of things can happen all from being drunk, right? Reading on. Becometh holiness, not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things, being that example, that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, and to love their children. So with that, once again, we want to give all glory, praises, and honor to the Most High God, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. This is another 50 for 50. Don't be a drunkard, right? And once again, we'll be doing 50 lives, Lord willing, through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai in 50 days. This is day number 4, post-Pentecost, bringing some edification to the 12 tribes of Israel, to the 12 tribes scattered abroad. Greetings to the hopeful elect. Stay 10 toes down in his truth. Repent, 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 and keep the faith. Kwam Yasha. Shalom.